words of Christopher Vogler, a story is only as good as its villain or shadow, because a powerful enemy pushes our hero to face incredible challenges. Today, we're delving into part 2 of Muhammad's ordinary world stage. We'll be exploring the shadow archetype, a key role that shaped any story. Who was Muhammad's shadow and what defined it? I'll be guiding you through this journey. Subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Before the creation of the first human, there was a creature who was in love with the Lord of the universe and had worshipped him for 6,000 years. He had been allowed to reside on God's throne, and the angels loved and revered him. When God created man from mud and asked all the creatures to bow down and prostrate towards him as his representative, the one who was created from fire and considered man to be inferior refused to bow down to Adam. He was expelled from the divine throne. In return for his worship, he asked God for a few things, all of which were granted.
7 requests. Long life until Judgment Day, to continue tempting humans until the end of time. Power to influence hearts, to lead humans astray by entering their hearts and minds. Remain unseen, to deceive humans without being visible. Flow through human bodies, to tempt humans from within, like blood in their veins. Having 2 offspring for every human to increase his forces for misleading humans. Ability to change appearance, to take different forms and deceive more easily. Accompany humans from birth to death, to tempt humans throughout their entire lives.
He gained the powers he had requested and swore that he would not allow man and his descendants to be God's representatives and worship him, and said, I swear by you that I will take them as my mounts. He rushed from God's radiant throne to the darkest place and began to procreate and build an army that was to extinguish the light of God on earth. Among humans, some people from a particular tribe became acquainted with his power and made a covenant to be his helpers, something that we read exactly in the story of Saruman.
We must join with Sauron. It would be wise, my friend.
Believe me, I'm not talking about the Silmarillion or Lord of the Rings. We are still moving along the line of history. I grant that it's difficult to accept, but truth is truth.
You can't handle the truth!
The light that shone on the foreheads of some men from the family of Muhammad from generation to generation was sacred for the family, and everyone was eagerly awaiting the birth of that chosen great one. Until a pair of twin boys were born into the family, their foreheads connected together. A physician separated the two with a sharp blade, and both boys survived. But the Arab elders predicted that there would always be a sort of rule between these 2 brothers. A sacred light was on the forehead of one of them, named Hashim, and the other brother was named Abdullah. Later, this prophecy came true, and the children of Hashim and the children of Umayyah, the son of Abdullah, became each other's eternal enemies. A famine had swept over all of Mecca. All the people were only thinking about surviving. But Hashim, who owned many herds of camels, sacrificed a camel every day and invited the poor people of Mecca to eat until the famine had vanished from Mecca. and thanks to Hashim, there were no casualties. At that time, everyone realized that Hashim was different from all the elders of Mecca, and from then on, they had a special respect for him, and Hashim was made responsible for providing water and food to the pilgrims to the Kaaba. His life was passed on to his son Abdul Muttalib. Zam Zam, the wellspring of water that gushed forth from the spot where the foot of Prophet Ismail struck the earth, had long been buried and hidden in Mecca. Abdul Muttalib found the location of Zam Zam and revived the well. In a land where water was more precious than any jewel and fire rained from the sky, Abdul Muttalib, like his father Hashim, had saved the people from another calamity and provided the people of Mecca with a wellspring of water. Now, in addition to the pilgrims of the Kaaba, many others came there for water. He had 10 sons and 6 daughters, and the light of his forehead was passed on to his youngest son, Abdullah. Some of the Jews who had lived in the Levant had the shirt of Prophet Yahya in their possession. Their elders had said that whenever the blood on the shirt becomes fresh, know that the father of Muhammad, the greatest manifestation of God's light, has been born. With the birth of Abdullah, the blood on the shirt became fresh, and the news of the birth of Muhammad's father spread quickly among the Jewish elders, Christian scholars, priests, and sorcerers. The shadow, the enemy of Muhammad, had emerged years before him. He bestowed the powers he had received to those willing to worship him. As it said, one day while Pharaoh was eating grapes, the shadow appeared beside him in human form. He picked up a grape, and it turned into a ruby in his hand. Pharaoh was amazed. The shadow asked, "Would you like to have such power?" With Pharaoh's affirmative answer, he granted him a portion of his power. Consequently, Pharaoh declared himself God and demanded his subjects worship him instead of the one true Lord. In this way, the shadow's followers gained wealth and power on earth. Having thus infiltrated among humans, with the renewal of the blood on Yahya's garment, he sent a group of his followers to Muhammad's land to prevent his birth.